Hey everyone, welcome back to the pod. We're back from a long hiatus. We'll try to be more consistent going forward. So think of it as season two of the pod. So we'll get season two started off with our March Madness bracket prediction. So for today, I've got myself, Sisir, and Saurav as usual. So we'll get started with the bracket. So we'll just talk about the top seeds first, and then we'll go matchup by matchup and see where it goes. All right, so we'll get started with South. Alabama is number one, which I don't think there's any controversy on that, right? So
Yeah, not at all. They're actually the favorites to win it all. I think I would say that region is pretty stacked.
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think Alabama is the favorite, and yeah, and I don't think there's any controversy on that. Um, on to Midwest. I think this is where, at least for myself, I know A&M definitely got snubbed. So, but Houston, I think that's
Yeah,
expected for them to be number one.
yeah, second overall seed, number one in the Midwest. Houston coming off of uh Elite Eight last year. I think they're poised to make a run this year. And yeah, definitely with A&M. They could have been anywhere from 5 to 6, or at least even as high as 4, I believe. Some brackets had it, but yeah, it was surprising to see them at 7. But yeah, I mean, it has an interesting potential matchup of Texas and A&M in the second round, which we're probably gonna talk about
Yeah,
later.
that's my conspiracy that was intentional, but we'll talk about it more later. Um, moving on to East, we've got Purdue as number one. I don't really know if there's any other contenders that could deserve to be number one on East. Let's see.
I mean, number 2 seed is Marquette. Sorry. Um, Yeah, I mean Purdue was number one for a couple of weeks when Houston was not number one. I mean they've been pretty good, consistent all year. So
And then moving on to West, we've got Kansas as number one, and UCLA is number two. So I don't know how their season's been, but I guess there's not much debate there either, probably.
yeah, Kansas, defending champs. Sister probably knows a little bit more about them. Huh?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I
But
mean, it
yeah,
looks like they have the. I mean, just looking at the odds, uh, Houston and them, or Houston, Kansas, and Alabama. So I think those, they have the odds this year. It looks like I don't know how it is in the previous years, but they've got the number one seeds with the highest odds to win. I guess that's like normal, but sometimes I know people like sometimes they go all in for UCLA or who aren't typically number one seeds and all that stuff. So that's pretty interesting though.
but yeah, number 2 seed UCLA. You know that team is also pretty good. So
Yeah, some people have UCLA going pretty far. I mean, they're number two seed for
and
to
number
be
3
fair,
is
but
Gonzaga.
is that a stacked region, the West,
I
with
mean,
all
yeah,
those teams?
number 4 is UConn. Like, these are like I would say like your blue bloods, like Kansas, UCLA, or
Yeah,
not UCLA, but mostly like good schools, basketball schools, UConn, St. Mary's.
yeah. Even Illinois, right? I mean, they were like a number one seed a couple years back, I think. Maybe even last year. Who knows?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like I thought they were one of those teams, but it looks like that region is very stacked. Yeah. So it should be a good
Yeah, it was a
matchup.
4-5 matchup last year for Illinois against Houston. They were
Yeah.
number 4 seed. I think we were number
Oh.
5. We as in Cougars. I know you know y'all are Aggies, but
Yeah, we're new to the stuff, but we're here, from NIL or NIT, I think last year. Yeah,
NIT.
NIT, not NIL. NIT.
Wait, by the way, did you guys win the NIT or was it? I think y'all went to the final, right?
Yeah,
Went
we
to the
lost
final
by, I
and
think,
didn't make it. Yeah, I guess we'll start from the south, right? Alabama versus AMCC. What's
Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. They just won the play-in game against I forgot one of the schools there, but yeah.
irrelevant.
And I would say no chance for Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. What do you
But-
call it? Schools like like UT Dallas and stuff like that. Like a system, yeah. Texas A&M system. I mean,
Yeah.
We're part of the
Yeah.
family.
I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. I think this is probably the easiest one. I would say, yeah. Alabama definitely, they're red hot. Brandon Miller is red hot, so I would say them definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Even though I hate Alabama, you got to go with them.
So the next matchup we can probably talk about is the Maryland and West Virginia, 8 and 9.
Yeah, 8. Yeah, these 8-9 matchups are always tricky.
Always tricky. Yep.
Yeah.
Big 12 versus Big 10. West Virginia, they're 4 and 8 against top 25. There, I mean, BPI is similar, 20th, Maryland, and 23rd.
It does look like Maryland has a better defense. At least they allow less points, so that could come in handy during tournaments. But
yeah.
Interesting. Number 9 seeds have won 11 of 16 meetings. Number 8 in the past 4 tournaments. So that so number 9 they have won more. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Big 12 basketball is it's pretty stacked. I think 60% or more teams made the tournament. I know there are only 10 teams, but I think yeah. So I mean, Big 10 is also pretty good.
Yeah.
Good
Looks like, I mean, Maryland seemed to be in pretty good form though in terms of like some of their notable results against big teams, quote unquote big teams like Tennessee, UCLA. I mean UCLA actually they lost by 27, so that's not a good example. But
So
like,
they beat Purdue once, huh? Looks like.
Yeah, they beat Illinois by 5. They lost to Tennessee by just 3 points. Like they've had a close game, it looks like. Whereas
Both of them have played Purdue. Interesting enough. Yeah, both of them, West Virginia and Maryland, both of them have played Purdue.
Yeah, and Maryland actually beat Purdue once, one of their 2 matchups.
West Virginia lost to Kansas 3 times. Lost to Baylor twice. Lost to Kansas State. TCU.
It looks like they lost to Texas twice, so that lets me know they're not up for it. Frankly speaking, I just don't think they're up for it. You can't beat Texas, Yeah. But
yeah, I guess for me, I think it's probably going to be Maryland. I mean, usually these games will be toss-ups, so yeah, but probably Maryland goes through.
Yeah, for this matchup, I'm gonna pick West Virginia, just because of that stat. Number 9 seeds have won a lot of games in the last 4 years, so just because of that. I mean, it's really a toss-up, but it could go anyway. But I'm picking West Virginia.
So the next one, we've got San Diego State and Charleston. 5 and 12. Most likely the 5 goes through.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Aztecs too. Let's see. Both of them haven't won against top 25. That's interesting, but yeah, I mean, San Diego State, good basketball program. Let's see. I mean, they should handle business here.
All right. So then moving on to Virginia and Furman 4 and 13 again, citing same scenario. It's highly unlikely that Furman goes through. I'm pretty sure we all have Virginia going through.
Yeah, Virginia. I've seen. I've only seen one of their games because it was against U of H. They lost by 8, but they're pretty good team. And I mean, unless they pull off one of the upsets like last time, like it was when UVA was number 1 seed, and the number 16 seed upset them.
So the next one we've got Creighton and NC State. So 6 and 11.
Looks
Yeah, I
like
don't
Creighton also
think.
has like
Yeah.
their Big East DPOY center on their team, and looks like they have a pretty balanced team as far as offense goes with free throws percentages and shooting threes at a consistent rate. I think that can go very far for a team in this tournament type setup where it's like one game knockouts. So I think Creighton do have this in the bag.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if this was an upset or this was one of the upsets though, because this is one of those games.
Yep.
6-11. But yeah, I'm still gonna go with Creighton because just because of the quality of teams they've played against.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on to 3 and 14, Baylor and UCSB.
UCSB, what is that? What's their
UC Irvine. Oh no, that's not.
Oh,
It is
UC
UC Irvine.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's University of California, Santa Barbara. UC Santa Barbara. Yeah.
Yeah. Based on the fact
Yeah,
that
I
we don't
mean,
know them, then they're probably not gonna go through as well.
it's happening in Denver.
Did Baylor lose in the Big 12 tournament?
Yeah, I mean Texas won. Did they make it to the final? I don't think so. I think it was Iowa State against Texas in the final.
Yeah. Do you think that will kind of have an impact on how they play the first game, potentially? I know they're Baylor, obviously, but
Probably
Yeah, I mean
not.
Baylor is still pretty good. They've been pretty good for the last 2-3 years. They won 2 years back.
yeah. Yeah, it looks like UCSB are coming off of like 7 game winning streak, and heading to the tournament. So they're definitely on a hot streak
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
I mean, yeah, that's for those teams. They have to, right? That's their only chance at making it to the tournament. Like,
Mhm.
it's a 1-bid conference, I'm pretty sure. So they have to win the conference tournament to make it to the March
Yeah,
Madness. But yeah, Baylor was number 4 in Big 12. Big 12, like I said earlier, is pretty stacked conference when it comes to basketball, and it was pretty close. I think 11 and 7 in the conference, and overall 22 and 10 Baylor.
yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stick with Baylor on this one.
Yeah, I'll go with them too, but I think it'll be a close game for some reason. I don't know why. Even though it's a 3 and 14 matchup,
That's a hot take.
definitely is.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Those teams have they have nothing to lose, so I mean,
Yeah.
no one does. It's March Madness, win.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right. So moving on to Missouri and Utah State. So 7 and 10. Again, similar to 8 and 9. Closely, or I guess evenly matched up teams. In terms of like
Yeah.
BPI and also. But I guess Missouri does have more top 20 games against top 25 teams. Also, it looks like they're
Mizzou, SEC. You guys probably know a little bit more about Mizzou. What's the inside scoop on them?
The inside scope is that Aggies own them. Simple as that. And knowing that USU, they're also Aggies, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and pick them over Mizzou.
Utah State
Yeah.
Aggies. They're
Yeah.
Aggie? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
I'm
Aggies, so
yeah.
I think they're gonna go ahead and own them. But that's just going simply off of the name, nothing, no technical or no, basketball um,
Yeah,
relation there. But
in the past 4 tournaments, 8 of the 15 meetings have been decided by 5 points or less, including 4 overtime games. That's pretty interesting.
wow, that's an
Uh,
interesting stat right there.
yeah, I think I'm probably gonna go with USU as well. Um, even though I think they're 0-2 against top 25. Looks like their defense is actually pretty decent compared to Missouri, and then offense is actually evenly matched up. So if that holds, then I think USU probably goes through, even though Missouri looks better on paper.
Yeah, they were second in their conference, Utah State. Only San Diego State was above them.
In scoring or just rank?
Oh no, regular season.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pretty similar stats, like 27-6 and 26-8.
Mm.
Yeah, so they're a pretty good team.
Do you think this is an upset, sort of? What's your
Ah,
what's your inside scoop?
I would have to think a little bit on this one. I don't think I've picked an upset yet.
Yeah, I don't think you have.
They count. I think I'm gonna stick with Missouri again on this one. No upset.
Boo.
So next one we've got Arizona and Princeton. I mean, that's
Princeton, man,
Princeton.
you're like the smart guys there. Huh? Is that Ivy League?
yeah, it is.
Princeton, yes, they are.
Yeah. Well, Arizona.
I mean, looks like Princeton are fresh off of their Ivy League tournament win against Yale, so that's something, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they actually even made it to the tournament, to be honest. So
I mean, yeah, it's an auto bid. It's an auto bid or whatever. So, if they win the tournament, they get in. Whoever wins, regardless of what happened
I see.
in regular season. Let's see. Princeton's tournament record is 2-13, so they have won 2 games, but
Yep.
they've lost 13.
Okay, so moving on to the Midwest region, we've got number 1 Houston versus is it Northern Kentucky? Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be a no-brainer. I mean, I feel like Houston, there might be riots if Houston doesn't go through in Houston. So
Yeah, I mean, if they lose in the first round, just you'll never see me in another Podmandu episode, and that's so.
Uh,
Well, yeah, Houston. I mean, they're supposed to be the favorites, right? But Marcus Sasser is out, their leading scorer. They'll probably rest him, but they should be fine without him. Pretty sure. But yeah, I mean, it might get interesting if there was no Marcus Sasser because they did lose the last game against Memphis in the tournament championship game without him. But I mean, who is this? NKU. I don't even know who this is. So,
wow.
yeah, they should be. Yeah, even I think our bench can probably beat them, but let's not go that far.
yeah, so next one we've got Iowa and Auburn. Again, 8 and 9, so even matchup, so could go either way. I would think.
Yeah, this to me, I think it's the closest 8-9 matchup so far because we've only seen 2. But yeah, let's see.
But I think for me, I'm probably gonna pick Auburn. I feel like Auburn probably.
Yeah, they also have home court advantage, so because it's in Alabama.
Because I think
right.
Auburn has been pretty good in the SEC. I know in terms of basketball as well. So I think they'll
And
probably
definitely not
make it.
football. So yeah.
Yeah, they got to be better at something, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that there's a potential for Auburn, Alabama, in I guess like the national championship. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But it's interesting though, because I mean, so Novin, you say you're saying Auburn?
Yeah,
For this one?
I think SEC in general has improved a lot in terms of basketball, and looks like the matchup is pretty even, and I think Auburn probably goes through.
They've lost to Alabama twice. Makes sense. What's their biggest win for Auburn? Trying to see.
Probably
Looks
Tennessee.
Tennessee and Arkansas. Looks like those are the two wins.
They lost to A&M twice, and they lost to Memphis by 9 points.
Yeah. Looks like they Purdue or not Purdue. Iowa's won against Michigan State and Illinois. Those are actually pretty, and then Maryland. Those are, I think, at least Michigan State and Illinois. Those are pretty good wins.
They have one
Yeah.
of the best offenses in the nation. The
Yeah,
Hawkeyes.
they're number 4 offense in terms of efficiency. So I think I'll stick with Iowa on this one. I know. I think it'll be a close matchup, like you guys have said. But and SEC has improved, I think, too. Yep. I mean, look at A&M. But given the fact that Auburn kind of had an early exit in their SEC tournament, and kind of have had like a rough patch lately going into the tournament, so I think that might affect them a little bit. But again, you never know.
How much of home court advantage do you think Auburn will have, or is there no such thing as home court advantage in March Madness? What do you think?
I think there is. I think there definitely is. I think especially because college. I think college fans are a bit more rowdy than like not like professional fans. I guess. But so I think it does play a big part. So that could be the decider. But if they do have since they do have the home court advantage in a close matchup. But
Yeah, Auburn, they were 14-2 at home this year.
mhm.
Let's just show you sticking with Iowa on this one.
Yeah, I'll stick with Iowa just because of how I'm just looking at. I mean, I haven't really watched those two teams closely, but just like you said, the offense is very high power, offense top 4 in the nation, and also the fact that Auburn kind of have been lacking lately after a strong start. Looks like they were 16-3 to begin the season, but then towards the end of the season, heading to the March Madness, they kind of struggled 3-8. So I think that might have some impact on how they play this game. I know they do have home court, so that might just completely might not even matter. But I'm gonna go with Iowa in this one just because of the offense.
Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Auburn. Just a little bit of edge just because of the home court advantage. So
Yeah.
All right, so the next matchup we have Miami, number 5 Miami and Drake. Again, I guess Drake.
Drake, yeah, we got Drake. Drake, let's see.
I'm definitely going Miami then. Drake's not going to be winning anything.
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be a first.
Plus, it's a 5-12 matchup. I highly
Yeah,
doubt.
I saw somewhere like Drake is one of Drake is going to be one of the Cinderella teams this year or somewhere like on Twitter, but I haven't seen the stats. Let's look into the stats here a little bit. Drake Bulldogs.
So
They're in Missouri.
they've won one game against top 25, so 1-0 on that front. Pretty good defense, 63 points per game defensive rating, so pretty good defense, and then 75 points per game on offense. That's actually pretty good. I mean, it could also be that their competition is probably not good compared to like the other teams, but
Yeah, let's see how the U is doing. Let's see. 3-1 against top 25, 36th in BPI. Points per game, almost 80 points, and looks like they do give up almost a lot of times here.
Their defense not that great, I guess, compared to Drake. So could be a close one, but I think Miami probably goes through.
Looks like at least one of the 12 seed has defeated the number 5 seed in 32 of 37 tournaments. Last year, a pair of them pulled the upset, Richmond and New Mexico State. Oh, that makes me want to pick Drake for some reason.
Yeah, this one could be an potential upset. I mean, just looking at.
I'm gonna go with my first upset here for Drake.
I think I'll stick with Miami here, just because of their looking at some of their wins against the top 25 teams. I know Drake also has beaten a top 25 team,
That's fair.
but and Drake, to be fair, they are led. They have a more sort of mature team in terms of like experience, as opposed to Iowa, or I'm sorry, Miami, who kind of are like up and down, kind of maybe not as consistent as you might want to be in the tournament. But I'm still gonna go with Miami here. Gut feeling that they might win this. But Drake is not a bad pick at all. I think this could be this has a very high potential to be an upset.
So moving on to the next one, which is Indiana and Kent State. So 4 and 13 again. Indiana basketball school, all that. I'll probably stick with Indiana.
How you?
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Kent State, though. I think UH played against them, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it looks like they beat Kent by 5 points. Pretty close game, but still, maybe they didn't really care enough to.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's one of the first games, not if not the first one. But yeah, Kent State. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Indiana too.
All right, so moving on to the next one, Iowa State and what is
Actually,
this?
this game just ended. Pitt beat Mississippi State by 1 point. It was 60-59 final score just seconds ago.
Wow,
Okay.
that was a very close game. Do you think that matters in this matchup? Like, do you think either teams could have beaten ISU, Iowa
Yeah,
State?
honestly, I mean, Pitt, I think they didn't have their coach or something. Yeah, I guess also
Iowa,
let's take a look at the opponent. Yep.
yeah, Iowa looks like they're pretty poised in terms of
Iowa State,
against
yeah,
top
Iowa
25 teams.
State, yeah, ISU, let's see, Big 12.
I think it looks like they're a good defensive team.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with ISU on this one too. I mean, Pitt, I mean, I guess it was a close game. I guess you could even say they struggled against Mississippi State or whatever. I didn't watch the game, but it was a close game, right? And it wasn't like they dominated or anything. So,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
Iowa State will get this.
Plus, I guess they'll be tired from the game.
So next one, we've got Xavier and Kennesaw State.
Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Big East team.
I've never seen Xavier in the brackets before. Is this a new team that's emerged
No,
now? Or
Xavier's been a
obviously
basketball
Yeah,
team,
it's
oh wow!
yeah, or school.
this is
If you didn't know already, I'm
this is
excited.
basketball knowledge getting tested.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting exposed out here, man. Cut that out, okay?
Second in the Big East.
Yeah, look, I mean, it looks like they're a powerful. I mean, dominating team. It looks like based on their stats,
And
they're
they're in the same
playing.
conference as Marquette, Creighton, UConn, Providence, Seton Hall. You heard of those teams? Villanova.
Oh yeah,
Your favorite?
Seton Hall. Definitely Seton Hall because they busted my bracket last year, so I won't forget that one.
Yeah, Paul, Georgetown. They're pretty good. I mean, this is just a basketball conference, like I said earlier. But yeah, they were second in that conference, 15-5 conference, 25-9. So won 25 games. That's a lot of games.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Big East team on this one.
Yeah, Xavier for me as well. So moving on to the next matchup, we've got the A&M versus Penn State. So 7 and 10. I think for me this is also a no-brainer. I think, like I was saying earlier, A&M definitely underseeded for sure. So I expect them to go through to the next round for sure.
Yeah, when you look at the stats, I guess like offensive and defensive, they look pretty similar on paper, but I think A&M is definitely a better team here.
Yeah, I think whoever is in charge of seeding the teams in this tournament took our thing a little bit too serious because we were saying don't rank us. So I think they took it a bit serious and they actually ranked us far below where we should have been. But
yeah, A&M is also good at free throws. Looks like, and that matters a lot in the tournament because teams lose because of their poor free throw shooting. So
yeah, I think definitely the Aggies. No bias.
Yeah, and
So,
number 7 seeds have won 60% of the matchups against. Yeah, it's 60-40 for the most part, looks like, recently, in recent years. But yeah, I think the Aggies got this one because of the recent form too. I mean, they've been pretty good. Just lost to Alabama in the SEC championship on Sunday.
yep,
I believe.
I agree.
All right, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, moving
Oh
on
Lord.
to 2-14 Texas and Colgate. Even though I hate UT, they're probably gonna move through to the second round. I think that's what the selection committee wanted, anyways. A&M versus Texas for the round of 32 matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be. I know. I mean, the schools are not going to schedule each other. I think it's mostly UT refusing to schedule, but yeah, they're not going to schedule each other. I mean, they have to now starting next year because they're both going to be in the SEC. UT, yeah, now that I'm a Longhorn, I'm just saying.
Oh no, we're not doing this here. We're
Yeah.
not doing that here now. Yeah, yeah. I
But
think
yeah,
they'll.
I think this is also a
they'll
no-brainer.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, everyone's going to be making fun of UT if they lose, because they did lose in the first round a couple of years back to what's Abilene Christian, I think, another Texas
Ah,
school. I remember. I think it was a 2-15 upset too, or something similar. I'm not sure. They were highly seeded that year and they lost in the first game. But I don't think it's gonna be one of those. I think UT pulls this one off.
yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the East, we've got Purdue and Texas Southern, or FDU. But I mean,
Who?
yeah,
Purdue
FDU?
and whoever, bro. Whoever, man. We're taking Purdue, man.
it's going to be
Whoever.
Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue. My what could have been school. I'll take
Oh
them.
yeah, yeah. You know the school you ditched for UT out of all the schools, but we
Yeah.
moved.
All right. Purdue, yeah, I mean they're number one seed, so that
Yeah.
tells you everything. And the stat that you mentioned earlier about being however many wins that is. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's move on to the next one.
Memphis and FAU.
Memphis. I mean, I know a little bit more about Memphis. Um, they're pretty good. Kendrick Davis is pretty good. They just beat us. They're coming off of a championship, I guess, a tournament championship, because they're not going to win the regular season as long as Houston's there. They could probably start winning next year because UH is not going to be there. I had to take shade to,
Yep.
the Tigers. I mean, the Penny Hardaway. I think they won the first game last year too. I think they were number 8 too last year. But yeah, they have the potential to make a run this year. I'll say that. A lot of teams, like I think this could be like the upset, not just in this round. I mean, this is not in this round, but like the later rounds. Like a lot of people have picked Memphis to go to Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or something.
Yeah. On the contrary, I think they'll be uh, what's the word? Upset. I think they will lose to FAU. I know that. I mean, I know. Looks like Memphis have beaten pretty good teams. I mean, including A&M, Houston, and Auburn. And lost to Alabama by 3 points. But I think I
Yeah,
don't know. I think
they have been on pretty good. I guess lately they've been better.
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean, can Penny Hardaway do something finally? I don't know. I think this could be. Yeah, I
not on
think
my bracket. That's it.
not out of your bracket. Okay. Yeah, although I
Yeah.
hate Memphis, I'll pick them for the first one, at least for the first round. I am definitely not picking them in the second round. I'll tell you that right now. Spoiler alert. All right.
Robin, you got anything to add?
No, I think I'm picking Memphis because looks like they've played more top teams compared to FAU, which they've played none. And just
Yeah, they got practice. They had to play Houston 3 times. Lost to I mean, they were pretty close in the games they lost against us. Even without their best player. I know we lost to them without our best player, but it was like a 10-point loss. But with them, it was they lost to us like it was pretty close, even without their best player. Then, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Memphis also has DeAndre Williams this year. I don't know if I told you about him. I think he's like
Yeah.
26 or something.
Yeah.
He's
I
26
mean,
year old.
we watched the game together, the Houston
Yeah.
game that ended up, I think it was a very very close game at the end actually, right? Because they won. Houston won
Yeah,
by
they
like
had the
a
buzzer
buzzer
beater.
beater. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
they have DeAndre Williams and Kendrick Davis, top two players. But yeah, DeAndre Williams, I think he's a super senior or whatever.
yeah, that brother needs to leave. He's like Stetson Bennett, Stetson Bennett from Georgia,
So,
but much worse. No disrespect.
yeah, yeah. Moving on to the next, everyone's favorite, especially the bandwagon's favorite, uh, Duke against Roberts. Who are you? A lot of people, yeah, Oral Roberts. I think
Yeah, I
they
mean,
won last year. I think they made it to. Yeah, they made a pretty good run a couple of years back. Was it last year or a couple of years back? I don't know.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think they made one of those Cinderella runs. Yeah, they upset Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh yeah, they reached Sweet 16 for the first time since 1974 last year.
Not this year though.
Not this
They're
year.
they're
Yeah,
going
Duke.
out.
Yeah, Duke also has been playing, you know, better than the first half of the season. And a lot of people have picked Duke to make it to the Final Four. I know there's a lot of Duke bandwagons, but pretty
Looks
good.
like ORU is pretty good too. I mean, 16
Yeah,
or
why are
17
you? They
games.
got 30 wins. The winning 30 games is hard, regardless of what
Yeah,
conference you're in.
17 straight too.
I think I'm gonna stick with Duke on this one.
Yeah,
Same. Duke
I
for
agree.
Yeah.
me. Moving on to the next one, we've got Tennessee and Louisiana, 4-13. I think same deal. Tennessee probably goes through.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tennessee somehow they've fallen off from last year. I think last year they were a little higher seed, but again, I think they go through.
Yeah.
Props to Louisiana for making it here, but
Yeah,
your run ends here, bro.
these matchups have been pretty close, like single digits for the last whatever year. But yeah, regardless, I think Tennessee is gonna come out on top.
Yep.
All right, so moving on to the next one, Kentucky and Providence, 6-11 matchup.
Another bandwagon favorite
Yeah,
team, Kentucky.
Mhm.
Um,
They don't got the coach no more though, so or is that Duke?
that's the Duke,
Okay.
Coach K.
Yeah, I'm a casual, so you know. But I think it's the same thing again. Like I think Kentucky, yeah, Providence.
Kentucky is not as good as they used to be. They missed out on tournament like a couple of years back, I think. Or was it Duke? I'm not sure. It was one of those, but on paper, let's see
looks
how
like
did
they
they do.
beat A&M, Tennessee, and
They lost
Michigan
Gonzaga by 16 though.
yeah,
Interesting.
and
They won
Auburn.
against
So,
Tennessee twice.
I mean, look at
that's
Providence. They beat UConn, Marquette, who were number 2 seed. Creighton also. They beat TCU at TCU. Hold up
Okay.
now.
Maybe they're one of their biggest wins. Yeah. Um.
But yeah, it doesn't phase me though.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with
yeah.
Kentucky.
I'm gonna stick with Kentucky, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if Providence wins though. So that can. I think this is one of
Yeah.
those matchups where I think Kentucky can definitely lose.
Surprising that we don't have that many upsets so far.
So far, I
I mean,
mean,
usually
yeah.
I think
I don't know. Oral Roberts has won 30 games, but then I think if it was Oral Roberts against Kentucky, I would probably pick ORU.
mm,
Duke has been a little bit better than Kentucky, so
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, we can move on to the next one.
So we've got Kansas State and Montana State now.
Kansas and Montana State. Let's see. Yeah,
Probably
I
a
think
no-brainer again.
I don't think it's close. But yeah, they have only lost once since January or mid-January. It looks like. I guess that's their biggest advantage. Montana State Bobcats. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Wildcats on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same for me. Kansas State probably goes through. So moving on to Michigan State and USC. This could probably be a good matchup. 7-10, two good teams. Michigan State has lost to Purdue twice. Gonzaga only won against Kentucky, Maryland, Iowa,
Indiana.
1-1. But USC lost to Tennessee as well. Arizona won against Auburn. I guess that's one good win. But yeah, they're evenly matched up even in losses. So that tells you.
Yeah, this could be one of those close games.
Yeah, this is
I mean,
this is going to be a
7-10.
really close game. This one would be like one of those.
Yeah, hard to pick for me.
Yeah, this one is hard to pick. Defensively, they're evenly matched up, and then
So, yeah, I think
offensively,
people who have followed them, they'll probably have a better idea. Even if it looks good on paper, like similar, just like how A&M and what was their matchup?
Penn State.
They had like similar stats or whatever, or at least like in terms of defensive points. I mean defense and offense, but A&M was the clear. They had the clear upper hand. So, unless you followed them, you probably don't know. So yeah, I could just go with anyone on this one. So I'm gonna go with Michigan State.
yeah,
Wow.
I'll probably just stick with Michigan State, to be honest. Just because of their name and branding, I guess, in terms of basketball team or basketball
So
school.
are you gonna pick the Trojans?
No, I'm picking the Spartans because of Draymond Green. I gotta rep the homie. Him and
USC, the football school, man.
yeah. I'm also going Michigan State.
Sounds good.
So the last one for East is Marquette and Vermont, 2-15. Again, this is probably
That's a
one of
no-brainer.
those no-brainer.
Marquette. Onto the West.
Yeah, on to the West. So starting on the West, we've got Kansas and Howard again. Number 1 and 16, no-brainer matchups. Really nothing much to talk about. I think the next.
Great job to Howard for making it this far, but
yeah, their conference championship game was pretty good. I was watching that one. That was one of the only ones that I watched. Because the other team kind of choked. I don't know which one it was, but yeah, congrats to them.
Yep.
Okay, so the next one we've got Arkansas and Illinois, 8-9. Again, yeah, this is going to be one of the close matchups probably. Evenly matched on paper, but Arkansas has definitely a worse record on versus top 25 though. Arkansas is 2-8, Illinois 5-4.
Yeah, this one I'm leaning towards Illinois because just kind of solely basing off of how they were in the past years.
I think Arkansas was like one of the top seeds. I mean, not top, but they were definitely like a little bit better seed last year. They had like pretty good team. But yeah, this year, I mean, yeah, it looks like they're still good, but not great. So, but yeah, their BPI though. I mean, they're top 15.
I'm surprised. Yeah, how's their BPI top 15 but then their record kind of doesn't show that.
I mean, they're in the SEC.
Yeah, they're in the SEC, so I think I'm probably gonna stick with them just because of the conference they're in right now. I think that might be why their numbers are skewed in terms of top 25, right? 8 losses, but again, they're in a conference with A&M and Alabama
and Kentucky.
and Kentucky. So
and Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah. So, but I think
SEC has
yeah,
a lot of teams.
yeah. So I'm gonna show
I'll
my
go with Illinois on this
SEC,
one though.
show my
I
SEC
think
bias.
yeah, I'm also gonna pick Illinois. Just because of no reason.
Now, when you going with
Yeah, I'm
the
gonna
SEC boys?
I'm gonna stick with the SEC. You know. All right. So moving on to the next one, we've got 5 and 12, St. Mary's and VCU.
St. Mary's is pretty good. Houston played them. I only know the teams that Houston played.
Yeah, it looks like they're pretty good by their numbers and some of
Yeah,
the results they've had against big teams.
Yeah, also, VCU hasn't really played any top teams at all compared to.
Yeah, they played Memphis and Pittsburgh and all that in Arizona State, but
I guess yeah, their best win is at Pitt. I mean, or I don't know where this was, but that
it
bit
was home.
yeah, they look like they won against Pitt by
That's
4.
right.
But yeah, I think that was one of the, could go anyway type of game. But I think yeah, St. Mary's got this one.
Yep. St. Mary's to the win.
Yeah, St. Mary's. So next one we've got UConn and Iowa, 4 and 13. Again, Iona, not Iowa.
Iona.
Again,
Iona.
probably
Iona.
UConn
But
probably
this
goes
is
through.
this is in New York. So UConn, I think
Yeah,
UConn
yeah.
has home advantage on this one. I don't know where Iona is. Let's see. Where is Iona? Iona is also in New York. Interesting.
I don't think it'll matter, to be honest. I don't think the matchup is close enough for the home crowd to really make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just because their lack of experience with like big teams, I think I'm gonna stick with UConn.
Oh, but Rick
Yep.
Pitino is the head coach, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've seen that a lot of people, a lot of people, they have been saying this is the upset, and then it could be the first upset. I would say that though.
Yeah, definitely a game to watch though, for sure. I
Mhm.
think in terms of
They
like.
haven't lost since January. It says.
MAC Player of the Year, Walter Clayton Jr. Interesting. The Huskies, reliable offense, both inside and outside the arc.
Since you said, going by what you said, sort of, coaches don't play, so I'm picking UConn.
If coaches played, Memphis would probably be in the finals.
Oh, they're winning it all.
But yeah, Navin, are you picking the upset or?
No, I think it's too like UConn is way. They're just so much better. I don't think Iona goes through. So I'm sticking with UConn.
Iona.
Yeah. Right. So next one we've got TCU and is it? I don't know who's gonna be. Is it gonna be ASU or Nevada?
Is this?
It might be tomorrow's
ASU?
game.
Wait, is it Arizona State ASU? I think so,
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. TCU goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
TCU,
goes
yeah, TCU, yeah. Big 12.
Yep.
Gotta support Big 12.
Oh yeah, since you're in that division or conference now.
Yeah.
Not yet. But yeah.
You'll be there.
Yeah, TCU for me, I guess we could probably just skip or not skip, but like we're all probably picking TCU anyway. So moving on to the next one,
Yeah.
Gonzaga and Grand Canyon again. Same. I doubt Grand
Grand
Canyon is
Canyon,
Like Grand Canyon, like you gotta
Yeah.
be, you're not even in basketball. Like, well, come
you're a
on.
national park, bro. What is this?
Yeah.
Wrong sport. What the blood doing out here?
But yeah, if Gonzaga like loses in the first round, I would say they're all the hype about basketball they have. I think people are gonna stop following him.
Northwestern and Boise State. For the next one, 7 and 10.
Close matchup.
Close one. Even
Not really.
very close.
in terms of quality of opponents or whatever, if that matters. Um, Obviously, Northwestern, Big Ten school, 4-1 against them, so they probably beat the big teams. I would say then. Let's see.
They beat Purdue. Wow.
Purdue, they beat Indiana twice, Illinois 50-50, Michigan State won by 7. They lost to Auburn though, which was surprising, or not, just by 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, their
Lost to Penn
worst
State
was
twice.
probably Penn State twice. That's interesting. But yeah, San Diego State, they beat A&M by 15.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting. When was that? Since you
Yeah.
all are
And
big Aggie fans, let me know what happened in that game.
we don't talk about losses. So I don't know what happened. I don't think that game existed. It looked like just a practice match going on, and they recorded the game as a
Scrimmage then, okay.
yeah.
But they have also lost 3 of their last 5 games. Boise State Broncos. I think
Yeah, this one might be NU actually.
Northwestern. I'll pick Northwestern, no upset.
Yeah,
I f-
I agree.
I'm gonna pick the upset on this one, Boise
All
State,
right.
Oh,
because we all know it's gonna be busted the first round, so might as well just pick.
Did I survive the first round last year? I don't know.
I don't think
Yeah.
any of us survived last year, so
Yeah.
I think you had one of the upsets correct, but I don't know if you survived the entire
yeah, it's
first round.
All right, on to the last matchup of the round of 64. We have the Bruins, UCLA Bruins against UNC.
yeah UCLA. I don't think there's any debate on this one.
I want to pick the 15th seed, but I don't want to bust
Yeah.
my bracket.
Yeah, UCLA. I'll take UCLA. I mean, they're Final Four contenders too, I think. So
Yeah, I mean they have one of the highest odds to win it all, so I would expect them to make it a little bit farther in the tournament.
yeah, I'm excited to see the round of 32 matchups. Round of 32, the second round, because there were some close teams. So let's see.
I think we got some good matchups here now.
Yeah, we
Do
got
we
some
want to
good
start back
matchups.
on the South?
All right, so for the round of 32, just moving on to round 32, for the South bracket, which matchup do you guys looking forward to, I guess, or do you think will be close on your bracket? Starting from mine, I think probably the obvious one is the 5-4 San Diego and Virginia for me, but I just have Virginia going through. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely A&M and Texas. That's gonna be a fun one to watch. Probably gonna have one of the highest ratings, I would say.
Yeah, so
But I think
A&M,
yeah, I'll pick the upset against Texas here actually.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer, man.
yeah, that's
good decision.
Yep.
Aggies.
I also have A&M going through for that. Yeah, I guess that's also another interesting matchup, I guess, for round of 32. And yeah, obviously I gotta go with A&M. No brainer. The other
Duke,
one I
Tennessee is a
think.
good one. Duke and
So
Tennessee.
I
I had Duke and Tennessee, so I don't know about y'all.
yeah, I have Duke and Tennessee, but I feel like that's Tennessee probably just wins it straightforward, at least for
Yeah.
me. So
For me, I'll pick Duke on that one. Again, let's see.
and then I think the last one that I have, well, last interesting one that I have is the TCU and Gonzaga. I think TCU goes through instead of Gonzaga. That's gonna be my upset pick for the round of 32 on the West.
Interesting. Yeah.
My-
Another interesting one is St. Mary's and UConn. I don't know if we both or if we all 3 of us had that, but
Yeah,
same
I had
conference
that.
team, same conference. They're in the same conference, so that's going to be a battle, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have St. Mary's and UConn, but I have UConn going through for the next round.
Yeah, I'll probably pick.
I got St. Mary's on that
St.
one.
Mary's on that one. Oh yeah,
I'm actually picking a big upset here. On the East,
Memphis.
I'm picking Memphis over Purdue. Yeah,
All
I think
right.
so.
Yeah.
It was you who said. I think you said some people. You've seen some people have Memphis going farther
Yeah, I've
or
seen
deep
some
into the
people. Yeah.
tournament. And I think this could be one of the upsets. I think Purdue could. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
Purdue
mean,
can make calls.
that's fair. That's fair. You know, we gotta have some upsets. Uh,
Yeah.
upsets. Let's see what else. Kentucky and Kansas State. I'll probably pick Kansas here. Michigan, Marquette. I think Marquette easy. Yeah. Not much of an upset for me, other than I think I'll pick Northwestern or not. Let's see.
Over UCLA.
But then
I'm
I don't
pulling
even
for
know if
UCLA.
they're gonna make past Boise State. You know, that was a hard choice for me. So I'll probably stick with UCLA.
Yeah, that's a wise choice.
And actually, like UH against Auburn, just because of the home field, home crowd, whatever advantage. That's gonna be a little bit tough if Marcus Sasser isn't playing. But yeah,
Oh yeah, how long?
hopefully he's back by then, and we should take care of business. But that is a little bit scary if it's Auburn. I would say that, or Iowa, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Iowa going through, but I think Houston will cruise past both teams or either teams.
Yeah, and I had picked Drake over Miami, but yeah, and I'll actually pick Indiana. So just just one. That's it.
One and
Okay,
done.
let's I'm gonna go through the bracket and tell you what my
So
16
it's
teams
16
are.
teams. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got Alabama, Virginia, Creighton, Arizona, Houston, Indiana, Xavier, and A&M. What about you guys?
I think we pretty much have the same, except for I have Baylor going through instead of Creighton. But yeah, that's the only difference, at least in South and Midwest.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got same thing on the. So I've got Alabama, Virginia, Baylor, Arizona, Houston, and Miami. I think Miami beats Indiana. I think that's going to be an upset. I mean, 4 and 5 is not really, you can't really say it's an upset because they're kind of easily matched up if they do meet in the round of 32. And then I've got Xavier and A&M on that side. On the East, like I said, I got Memphis beating Purdue.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So I've got Memphis and Tennessee. Then I've got Kansas State and Marquette.
You got Memphis
the
and
West-
Tennessee, like
Yep.
as a matchup.
Yeah, I got them as a matchup.
Okay, that's gonna be a good one because both of them are from the same state, and that's gonna be pretty good.
That's like Auburn, Alabama that you're talking about,
Yeah.
And then from the West, I've got Kansas and St. Mary's. I got them beating UConn. And then I've got Gonzaga and UCLA. That's my round of 16 matchups.
All right.
Or
Yeah, I think I mean that Memphis pick is probably like the most
I think it's very
surprising one
important.
we've seen so far. But yeah, I mean so
Yep.
far we've had pretty good teams. I guess like only new team that has made it to like to 16 that that is surprising is A&M, but then it might not be that surprising.
It is not. It is very obvious in my eyes. Yeah.
I'm just going with the flow here, guys. I don't know about the Aggies. I trust y'all.
Yeah. No, don't worry. We'll
Right.
we'll see each other in the Final Four. Just or not Final Four. I'm sorry, Elite Eight.
Yep. All right. From Sweet 16 to the Elite 8. I guess we can all kind of go through our picks.
For Elite
'Cause
Eight, yeah.
it's just gonna be 4 games. So I'll start with Alabama, Virginia. I think Alabama is definitely if if they're playing like they are right now, they're definitely I would say my pick to go all the way to the final. So yeah, I'll definitely stick with them. And Creighton and Arizona might be a closer one. Let me see. Yeah, BPI 10 and 11 uh, matchups. Let's see. And they have similar records. I'll pick Creighton on this one. I'm just gonna pick an upset here.
Looks
And
like on that matchup, you say you have Creighton and Arizona.
Mhm.
Uh, Looks like Arizona actually beat Creighton in the regular season by 2 points.
Yeah, that's a close
So
one.
that's going to be a rematch.
Rematch. It's gonna be interesting, and yeah,
Do
it
you think
could be
Creighton
one
wins that one?
at this point. But yeah, if yeah, I guess Creighton is the one that I have as an upset, making it all the way to Elite Eight. So let's see
Yeah.
if they don't, my bracket is busted. So yeah, but yeah, Houston and Indiana, I'll stick with Houston if Marcus Sasser is back, and if they're in same form as regular season, so they should be unstoppable. A pretty good defense too, so a little bit biased. There you go. And to my Aggie friends, I think your run ends here. You know, um, you've had a great run, so I'll stick with Xavier on this one. So I got
Hmm.
Alabama, Creighton, Houston, and Xavier in the
South and Midwest.
South and Midwest. Yeah, and moving on to the Elite Eight. I mean, the Sweet 16 matchups of the East and the West region. I will stick with Duke against Purdue and Kansas State over Marquette, UCLA over Gonzaga, and Kansas against oh, Saint Mary, Saint Mary's. So I guess Elite Eight teams are Duke, Kansas State, Kansas, and UCLA, and Alabama, Creighton, Houston, and Xavier. What about you guys?
For me, if I have Alabama, Arizona, Houston, and A&M. I think A&M will have one more. One more. They'll have one more in them to get past Xavier on my bracket to get to
Yeah, that would
Elite
be a
Eight.
fun matchup. I would love to watch that matchup.
Yeah.
A&M against Houston.
And then on the East, I've got East and West. I've got Purdue, Marquette, Kansas, and UCLA. So those are my Elite Eight teams.
I think I've got the same on the South, Alabama and Arizona. And Midwest too, Houston and A&M. I think A&M will have that sort of like the fairy tale thing that we're talking about, Cinderella sort of story, even though they're not really, under. I mean, they're like underdogs, but they're still pretty good. And on the East side, I've got Tennessee and Kansas. So I do think Memphis will have, will meet the end of their fantastic run,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And then I have on the West, I've got Kansas and Gonzaga. So I think Gonzaga will beat UCLA, one of the tournament favorites, to go to this Elite Eight.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to the next
Final four.
round, Elite Eight. Let's see who makes it to the Final Four in our brackets here. For me, I guess just Alabama and Houston definitely will go to the Final Four. And it's between Duke, Kansas State, and Kansas and UCLA. It's gonna be a close one to pick. But I will pick Kansas State here. Duke, yeah, made it this far, but Kansas State, I'll pick Kansas State. And I'll actually pick Kansas again. So it's gonna be a lot. I guess a lot more. I guess three of the number one seeds. The only number one seeds not seed not making it is Purdue. So I have Final Four as Houston, Alabama, and Kansas State and Kansas.
So both the Kansas teams making it.
Yep.
What
Yeah.
about you, Caesar?
Um, this will be slightly controversial. Okay. So I've got Alabama, definitely over Arizona. I've got A&M over Houston. You know, no
Okay.
bias.
All right.
Strictly basketball. You know what I'm saying? I think
What
it's
makes
just
you
I don't
think
know.
A&M is ready to beat Houston, man?
I think it'll be one of those games where Houston might not be as I don't know I don't know their offense as well as you do sort of, but are they like a three heavy team? Shoot a lot of
Uh,
threes.
they have a lot of offensive boards. I'll say that. Yeah.
Yeah, they do get the rebounds. I do agree. Yes, that is true. But I think
Yeah.
it'll be one of those nights or one of those days,
They
depending on
live
when
by
they
the
play.
three, by the three game, just like
Yeah,
against what is it?
the Warriors.
Against what was your favorite team, Sister? Like a couple years back? Oh, no, last year too.
Villanova,
Villanova against
Villanova.
Villanova. Yeah.
You know, if they were in this bracket or in this tournament, yeah, bracket, I had them going all the way too. But that's not the case here.
They're nowhere to be found, man.
Yeah, they're struggling in NIT, man. What can I say?
Mm.
But yeah, I think A&M will scrape a victory against Houston, but that's probably not going to happen. But it's one of those things that you kind of wish for. And then down, I
You
think
do know that you can create multiple brackets, right? So, there you go.
no, I'm sticking with one of them. This is my ride or die. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, I'm
all
putting all
right.
my eggs in one basket. But
Yeah.
out east, I had Tennessee and Kansas City. I think Tennessee go through. I think they'll have one of those runs as a number 4 seed, making the Final Four. And then out west, I've got Kansas number one seed going through. So I've got two number 1 seeds on either side of the Final Four, Alabama and Kansas. And I've got A&M and Tennessee as the other two teams. What about you, Nabi? What do you have?
I have all number ones except UCLA. So I've got Alabama, Houston, Purdue, and then UCLA. So instead of Kansas, I have UCLA
Yeah,
from
that
the
Kansas
West.
UCLA is gonna be a close one. It's anyone's game if it's at that point. That's a good one.
What's
And
your championship, Soda? Give us all.
yeah, actually, when I told you earlier, I said like Alabama, Houston, Kansas, and Kansas State, but based on I guess the region, I guess it looks like it's Final Four is gonna be Alabama against Kansas State and Houston against Kansas. And
Yep.
this is happening in NRG, so we should definitely try to go though, if we can get tickets. So this is happening in Houston. I think this is our best chance to win. So I will say Houston wins against Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I guess, what could have been last year if we didn't lose to Providence. I mean, Villanova, but yeah. And Alabama, Kansas State, I will stick with Alabama. I think Alabama is everyone's favorite right now. Not mine, but yeah, I think I would love to beat them in the final. We've
Yeah.
we lost to them 2 times in the last 2 years, and it's been pretty close for both 2 games. So I definitely want to see them and beat them in the final. So I will say Alabama, Houston, and I'll also say, the final pick. I think it's gonna be a close game again, and this is our best chance to win a national championship. So, Houston beats Alabama in a close game in the final.
You got a score?
Haven't picked a score yet, but I'll say, let's see, 63-61.
Okay. Close one.
Yeah.
What about you, Navin?
So for me, I have Alabama and Houston going to the final, and then I think, like Sora said, this is probably going to be Houston's chance to win it all. And I'm sticking with Houston. Gotta represent. So even though it's U of H, but yeah, we'll pick U of H.
That's fair. Yeah. You got a score with that one, or just
No, I just have the
close
pick. I
game?
mean, I don't looking at their numbers. I don't think it's going to be a low scoring game though. So maybe in like the 70s. but
Well,
Yeah, I just said 60s because the intensity in like March Madness games are like crazy. I mean, then defensive wise, because I remember
yeah.
one of the years it was like they won a game scoring like only like 50 something points. U of H did. So yeah,
Yeah.
sister.
Okay, so I've got obviously Alabama. So I've got Alabama beating Tennessee, and then I've got Kansas beating A&M. Unfortunately, A&M's Cinderella story ends here. But I'll take it. If they make it that far, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, if they make
So,
it that far, they will get the fan support too, because since it's in Houston, a lot of fan base for A&M in Houston, almost if
yeah.
not all of the fan base.
Yeah, but I do think they'll, and I think Kansas will blow them out in the Final Four. And then I've got Alabama and Kansas. I think Alabama will pull off the victory. I think they will dominate the sport just like they did football. I think they're gonna have this same impact. And I've actually got them winning like convincingly. Like if I were to give a score like 72-55, I think
Mm.
they'll win convincingly against Kansas. But again, speculations. But yeah, I've got Alabama.
Yeah, so we all have Alabama in the final, so that tells you a lot
Yeah.
about them. But yeah, I mean, hope. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be busted. I'm confident. The only thing that I'm 100% certain is that my bracket is gonna be busted the first week. But yeah, here we are.
yeah,
I'm gonna
can't wait
submit.
for it to be busted by A&M losing the first round and the round. Yeah,
Yeah, and like I said,
It's
if
happening.
UH loses in the first round, it's been
Oh
a
man.
great run with y'all guys. The podcast. So
The comeback cut too short. That happens. What's your just final thoughts before we end it? What is your expectation? Like, do you expect them to win the entire thing, or do you or like at the bare minimum type? Like, where do you see them? Houston going
Houston.
to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my honest thoughts on Houston is like, it's not based on the regular season only. I mean, they've been pretty good. Obviously, they only lost 2 games in the regular season, and both games were pretty close. They just lost by like 2 points or 3 points on average. And yeah, I mean, the the argument is they haven't played elite teams, but yeah, they played Alabama and they lost by they it was a pretty close game. They at some point they had like a 15-point advantage. So they could have won that game too. And yeah, based on the recent performance, last year we made it to the Elite Eight without our top two scorers, and now we have them back. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's the reason. We should be able to make a deep run, and then go all the way. It's kind of like natty or bust.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's a winner go home. I see. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Nevin, on your bracket or just overall?
overall, I guess like Sora's saying, probably Houston. I hope Houston wins. I guess that's all I have to say. Definitely not Alabama. So
I mean,
it's one game.
if it's Houston and A&M in the what would be an Elite Eight matchup, right? I'm pretty sure you'd want the A&M want
Yeah,
Ag
I would
against
love
Yeah.
to A&M to win, but I don't think that's happening. So that's why I've them
Houston.
going to the
You
Final
gotta
Four.
speak it into existence, man. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's
No,
gonna happen.
knowing A&M, they might just lose the first round. So that's why I just have them
Yeah,
going all the way up
that
to
is true.
Hey, but hey, at least y'all got or hopefully have the second round matchup. That's going to be pretty interesting against Texas. So looking forward to that.
Yeah. I think I mean I think if either of the teams like Houston or A&M wins, I'll be happy. But yeah,
Not
I think
Texas, huh?
not who Texas State or
Texas
oh
Longhorns,
Texas
baby.
oh
Hook 'em horns, huh?
yeah, no, the they're not making. I think we'll blow them out if we do meet up in the round of 16 or 32. Excuse me. I think our hatred runs very deep, you know. So, but should be. I think we're in for a good, you know, tournament. A month long. It's a whole month, right? Or how long is this? Like the whole thing is like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Should be a month. Actually, no, 2
Uh,
weeks. 2 weeks.
yeah.
3
So the
weeks.
first week is the round of 32, and I mean 64 and 32, and the next week, Elite 8 and Sweet 16, and then the Final Four.
Yeah. So it should be a fun couple weeks.
Yeah, we should definitely have
Sportsman.
watch parties and stuff. So we'll
Yeah,
probably do,
definitely. Yeah.
what do you call that? A Twitch stream. If
Yeah.
Oh,
keep-
yeah. If we find the time for that, we can definitely do that. But if not, like, you know, if we, you know, whenever there's a matchup that's, you know, like a huge upset or a really good matchup, we'll definitely kind of cover that up. You know, with some maybe some podcasts or something. Since we, you know, season 2 come back, we'll try to make something a little bit different, a little better. So
yeah,
Yeah.
just be on the lookout.
be on the lookout. And yeah, I'm just looking at the people's bracket, like who picked whom.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like most of them do have something similar. Like when it comes to Alabama and Houston, they do have like 50% and 70% have them going to the Final Four for sure. So they're the favorites, I would say.
Man, People's Bracket got all number 1 seed going
Oh
to
no,
Final Four. That's not gonna happen.
because I think they can just autofill too, right? And autofill probably
Yeah.
does based on like the prediction and stuff.
Yeah. Probably.
Yes, sir. All right. That is it for today's episode of our podcast. Stay tuned and hopefully we can continue our coverage of the March Madness.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next time.